The Kupua project through Kamehameha schools put together something called the Post-High School Council. And they invited a bunch of different people who were willing to come to the table and talk about how we could strengthen an Hawaii between the West Coast and higher education, because as we all know, Native Hawaiians are overrepresented in prison populations and underrepresented in higher education. And so asking those questions, what are the things that are needed to bring about community transformation?
It is a big culture change, I think, as a whole coast. We do have the lowest percentage of kids going to college. We have the lowest percentage of kids graduating from high school. So for us to continue to focus on college is important, that they know that they got to graduate from high school first, which is a great thing. Secondly, that we're saying, look, there's other opportunities. College is important, that from elementary through AVID and having that exposure, it's going to actually bridge more of that, and more of our kids are going to want to think that they can finish college, and that we will actually help support them with that also.
So that post-high school council was developing all these different kinds of strategies, and one of the strategies that came out is, hey, why don't we do an overnighter so that they can experience a connection between that space and the people in that space, see themselves in that space, and start making more meaningful connections than just a 15-minute visit to one space and then completely forget about it. So some of the activities that we did is bring the students to Wai'anae, which is an opportunity to put their hands into the soil that brought them forth.
And some of them didn't even know what a lo'i was. Well, for me, it was an assumption that they knew what a lo'i was, but when they were going through the packing list and I would say, oh, get dressed for the lo'i, and they go, what's a lo'i? And these are our Native Hawaiian children. And so it was really important to put their culture back into their learning so that they can find a safe place on the university.
So part of that is directly connected to how we want these students to develop support networks. You know, we are descendants of Haloa. Haloa is also known as Kalo, the first descendant, and the younger brother takes care of the older brother, and the older brother takes care of the younger brother. And that reciprocal relationship is the continuation of the long breath, ha, breath, loa, long breath. When you're connected to a larger story that's bigger than yourself, then that's part of the reason why we wanted those students to come there, to be able to hear one another's stories, to hear the stories of people that are in positions that maybe they would not have had the opportunity to meet, but meeting them, seeing that they're just normal people, seeing that they make the same mistakes, and seeing that you can move through those mistakes, learn more about yourself, and find new areas of focus and dive into them and feel renewed and connect to and continue the long breath of our lahui.
Then we went to Chang Field and we did many team building activities where we could bond with the students, that we could we expose them to their teachers in the New Tech Academy, and that they can pinpoint a very significant adult beyond their family, so that knowing that we care for them.
And having those guest speakers that came from Nānākuli and Wai'anae, they really enjoyed that also, because it brought home that they can do it, I can do it also.
We had presentations on what the requirements were to be in college, and then we went on a campus tour.
They didn't realize how huge the campus was, and on a daily basis, kids got to get to one place or to the other.
Then after that, we met back at the Hawaii Hall lawn, and they did a scavenger hunt. It was a flip camera scavenger hunt. And then we came back together at Spalding Hall in a lecture hall, so they experienced what a lecture hall would feel like, and being part of a large group, but knowing that even though they're of a larger group, they're still an individual, and there's still going to be someone there to care for them.
We talk about college, but to really put them in the situation was the most important. To let them live it and to be in the reality of what college is about was important. I think we got to do a better job of exposing kids at a younger age, because especially out here in the community on the coast, they don't hear about college. So whose job is it? It's everybody's job, not just the schools, it's the churches, it's everybody's job, but it's when intermediate, it is our job to say, look, everyone can go to college and you can, and we'll try to figure out somehow.
So the whole purpose of doing this intensive place-based learning experience for these students is to connect them to UH Mānoa.
That connection is really important because we're human, you know, If something makes you feel alienated, something makes you feel like a number, something makes you feel like no one cares and you're not important, then why would you go there? Why would you want to be there? Why would you ever want to try to see yourself there? But if you begin to plant those seeds through all these different kinds of things, like going to a taro patch, like having beatboxing classes in the middle of a cafeteria at UH, just having that small, like that kind of connection. You ask some of them, what's your favorite thing about this trip? The food. I mean, great, that's enough, you know? And you also got exposed to that. It takes a myriad of different kinds of experiences that tell you that you have the courage, that tell you that, yeah, you're connected to this bigger story, that tell you, yeah, you're cool, yeah, you can do this, yeah, you can have pride, yeah, even though writing is hard, look at all these free tutors that we have on campus. So that if you have those things scaffolding on one another and you feel connected to something, then you feel inspired. And that inspiration is going to give you the courage to take that first step or the next step after that.
It's an awesome tool to use as a counselor because they have a certificate of acceptance. And so we say, you want to get there, what do we do today in order to be there tomorrow? Because they want to go back, but I want them to go back as college students.